the Mets have acquired more outfield depth as they just signed a former Met to a minor league deal. So we're gonna get into onto who it is and what this means for their roster. Plus, the pitching rotation has officially been set, and there's been some pretty minor changes that we definitely need to get discussing on. So we're gonna break down what's going on that side of the baseball. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into this new edition of Mets Digest with your host, Michael DeAngelo, as you see on the screen. Hope everyone is having a great weekend so far. We are at a little under 4,000 subscribers. I gotta ask that you guys please hit that subscribe button down below so that you can keep up with everything going on in Mets world. Anything roster news, trade updates, free agency signings, free agent rumors, trade rumors, injuries, all of that right here. This is your one-stop shop for everything New York Mets baseball. As soon as we hit 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing my next giveaway for you guys on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I will drop my Twitter as soon as we hit 4K subscribers so you guys can go and join that giveaway because I want to give away some cool Mets stuff to you guys. So hurry up, let's hit 4K, and yeah, let's get started here. So the Mets have officially signed Billy McKinney to a minor league contract. Any OG Mets fan here is going to realize or remember the replace Mets, and Billy McKinney was one of those guys that was previously also signed to a minor league deal, formerly with the New York Mets, and made a decent impact on the team while he was up here. He made around a little over 90 plate appearances with the New York Mets while he was here. It hit for around a 220 clip with just a few home runs. So, he's a good utility outfielder, a guy that you can have out there eat innings while guys are injured, needing to rest up. He could play both corner outfield positions and first base. Now, in regards to his stats last season, he wasn't up in the major leagues for a very long time. Only having around 25 at-bats and, getting on base around, 28.6 clip. There's nothing here that really jumps off the page for, a guy like this. But, I mean, hey, he's still 30 years old. He's still got a lot left in the tank. He has a lot of experience in high-market teams, like I said before, the New York Mets being one of them. He's been on the Los Angeles Dodgers before, as well as the New York Yankees, most recently back in 2023. So this man knows how to perform and, keep up with, a tough market like New York City. So, does this mean much? No, especially now since we know Starling Marte is healthy and, he's out there taking at bats. He just hit a home run right now against the Miami Marlins in spring training, so he's definitely off to a great start. He's slated to be the starting DH on the team right now, with Juan Soto being in right field, Jose Siri being in center, and Brandon Nimmo being in left field. So that's how it's kind of looking right now. Marte still is making it a very important key for him to still be able to play in the outfield, especially since he has a very good glove out there, especially the arm as well. So, we would definitely love to have Starling Marte out there on some days and have Juan Soto be able to rest, maybe DH a couple days, and they flip-flop. That would be pretty ideal for us at this point in time, especially with Ronnie Mauricio just, starting to take swings, take live at-bats, but hasn't played in any spring training games just yet. Me personally, I would love for him to take over the DH spot. But besides from that, the other young guys are going to get their opportunities as well. Luis Angel Acuna, who hasn't really shown much so far in spring training, is still slated to make the opening day roster due to the fact that they can platoon him and Brett Baty at second base. Brett Baty, who's been playing fantastic right now, especially at the plate and at third base so far here in spring training. They're going to probably platoon the two of those guys at second base while Jeff McNeil is still hurt. And then in regards to once Jeff McNeil comes back, well, that's a problem for the future. But let's move on here to what I wanted to talk about with the rotation. And it has been set, barring any last-minute injuries. Anthony DiComo, beat writer for the Mets, reports that, like we talked about in my last video, that Clay Holmes will be the opening day starter, with Tyler McGill getting his opportunity once again, starting in the 2 spot. Griffin Canning, who has pitched great so far here in spring training, has hit 16 strikeouts, has barely given up any runs whatsoever. I think he's at a .91 ERA right now in spring, which is pretty impressive. So, needless to say, he does deserve the spot at this point in time. David Peterson starting 4th, and then Kodai Senga in the 5 spot. Why is Kodai Senga starting 5th? I think they just want to give him as much rest and as much time to prepare for the regular season as much as possible. So they will have him start 5th as right now. So it seems like Paul Blackburn is headed to the bullpen. Now, we did previously report that the Mets were interested in running a 6-man rotation. So a report like this can easily go out the window immediately. It's all up to Carlos Mendoza and David Stearns on what they want to do with the pitching rotation. But if they want to opt for a 6-man or a 5-man, I'm not believing that Paul Blackburn is headed to the bullpen. I really think that they will be running a 6-man starting rotation, especially if guys like Kodai Senga and David Peterson are not fully healthy, ready to go for the season. You want to give those guys as much extra rest as possible. So a 6-man rotation could be ideal, especially while you're waiting for Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas to get back from their injuries. Sean Manaea looking like the first one of those two to return back from injury. Then maybe you could talk about sending one of the lower end starters to the bullpen to help that area out. Paul Blackburn is appeared to head to the bullpen because of Denanel Nunez being informed that he will start the year in AAA, because he's obviously not back up to speed health-wise, rhythm-wise just yet. He just returned from his injury from last season. So we still have no idea, whether, when he will be up in the major leagues. So this is what we got on our plates right now. And, I think Kodai Senga obviously should have been the opening day starter, but he hasn't showed enough here in spring just yet to kind of be, Mendoza at this point. It really, it's a pattern here that he's just going to end up showing who's hot at this point, and he's going to end up playing who's hot. And, one of those guys that has deserved that is Tyler McGill, and he's going to get probably his final opportunity to prove that he could be a major league starting pitcher. He's already 29 years old, has lots of major league experience in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. And this is what we got last year. He was flip-flopping once again between those 2 spots. And in 16 games, he put up a little above a 4 ERA. Nothing here stands out too much to you. Just kind of that mid-level starter for the Mets last season. But, barring the injuries, it seems like that he is going to get another opportunity to show that he could start for this team. So we'll see what happens. I would love to see him. I would love to see him thrive as a starter, especially since when he first got brought up, he did thrive. And as soon as they sent him back down to the bullpen, because he was, there was just not enough room for him in the starting rotation because the Mets had a super rotation at the time, that's when he started to actually show struggles. And that really irked me because, he was a great young starter that was coming up from AAA, very mature pitcher, and showed some decent stuff, thrived in the starting rotation when he first got brought up. And then we move him to the bullpen and, kind of just took a nosedive. So this is a chance for him to come up to a fresh start, come up from AAA, come out of the not being in the bullpen anymore, starting in the rotation on opening series, and you get your chance once again to show that you belong as a starter. So we will see what happens. The rotation is a little shiesty, as you can see, but once Manaea and Montas come back, I think things will be more solidified at that point in time, especially with Kodai Senga and being, which spot will he pitch in that rotation. But that is all I have for you guys here today on Mets Digest. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the rotation, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody.